Today I'm installing the step cushions from Specialty Marine on my 1983 Outrage 18. They came no problem. They come in wrapped in plastic, kind of vacuum sealed. Just be careful when you open those up to make sure you don't accidentally cut the vinyl. Not only will you get the cushions, they'll come with a package of the snaps and the screws to attach to your boat. These simply just snap onto your steps there up there next to the bow. So you have two options to attach these. You can either use the provided screws, in which case you'll want to put a little sealant on that screw when you put it in, like life caulk or some total bolt seal, or you can just use like a 5200 adhesive sealant from 3M if you don't want to use screws. I'm going to use screws, and that way if I need to take them off or change them, it'll be easier than the 5200, which will do a permanent bond. After you drill the holes for these, which if you use screws, you're going to want to use a probably about a 5/64 drill bit. Doesn't have to be the exact size. You could probably use a 1/16, maybe even a larger one, but 5/64 I think is good for the size screw that comes with it. You just want to make sure your drill bit is small enough to where the threads in your screw have enough to grab the fiberglass. So I'm going to drill those screws out, and then I'm going to use a manual screwdriver to put these screws in. You could use a drill but with a Phillips bit, but as small as these are and where they're going, I think it'd be better control to have a manual screwdriver. Probably the hardest part of this process is going to be to make sure you mark exactly on the boat where these other side of the snaps need to go. What I'm going to do, which I think will work well, is I'm going to have I've just got some large paper. You can get this from a hobby store or whatever for pretty cheap, a roll of this. And I'm going to cut out a template of these step cushions, and then that will allow me to then come in and just mark exactly on the paper where these snaps should go, and then I can just lay that down on my step. Easily just take a pencil, mark where that's supposed to go, and should get perfect alignment. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut it out, and then we'll take a look to see what we have. Alright, so what I did to make this easier, I just rolled the piece of paper out, cut the length, and then I just took a pen. It's pretty easy when you take your pen to just feel the edge of the cushion, and I just very easily drew along that edge, and then once I drew that line, just came back with scissors, cut my piece out. So now I got a template here, and now I'm going to come back with the pen, and I'm going to be able to feel where the snaps are on the cushion, and I can just mark, probably even push through it just a little bit to make a hole where all the snaps are, and then I can take this, transfer it over the boat, and mark my holes. Alright, so I was able to, no problem, lay it out. With your hand, you can feel where the snaps are, and then in the middle of the snap there's actually a nice little recess of a hole. So I just took an ink pen, went around, found the holes, just pushed right through it, and so now I've got a mark and a hole in the paper, so now I can go transfer this to the boat. So let's do that. Alright, so we're back on the boat, and before we take our paper template to mark the snaps, what I think is a good idea is take your cushion and go ahead and get it kind of set where you want it to be, so that it's the right way. It's sitting right back flush against this. You see where it's going to line up, and you can adjust the left and the right. And once you get that, take your pencil, and I've just done a little mark on each end so I know roughly where that cushion should go. And once I've done that, I can set the cushion out of the way, take my template here that I've made with the snap holes, set it out here, lay it out, and now I can just kind of really put it exactly where it needs to go based on my marks. So once I have it here, take your pencil, you've got your existing holes, and come in here and do a good mark where all your snaps should go. Once you've got that, pull your paper off. Make sure you can see them all well. If you need to darken them up a little bit so you don't lose them, you can do that. Alright, now that you've got your marks on your boat, now we can move to drilling them. So I'll be right back with the drill. Alright, so got my drill. We're going to go ahead and drill each spot that we've marked. We've got a 5/64 drill bit. Once again, if you're not going to drill it, if you want to use just adhesive, you can use 5200, but I'm going to drill each one. And we don't have to go far, just about, half an inch or so would be plenty. All right, so now we're back. I've got my hardware pack with the screws. I've got my sealant. You want to use some type of sealant primarily, not necessarily adhesive. If you're using screws, I wouldn't use 5200. That creates a permanent bond. The point of screws is so that you can take it back out later if you need to. So this is a Total Boat marine sealant. You could use, Life Caulk or something else like that. You're just going to put a little dab of the sealant right over the hole. And you're going to take your snap, put your screw through it. Make sure you load the snap the correct way. Take it, go right in that hole that you've pre-drilled. Once again, I'm using a manual screwdriver, so you have a little more control so you don't strip the hole out. Get it where it's just snug, and that should be good. So we'll do that for each of the holes, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so I've screwed in all of our snaps using a little bit of sealant around the screw hole. Make sure there's no water that gets in through there. Looks good. We'll take our cushion, and what you want to do, what I found is easiest if you start from the back. So if you guys start from the back, got the little flaps here, you can easily come back here and you can line it up. Go from the back, snap that one in. Over here, I know it's hard to see, but when it's up like that, you can easily see it. And I'll go down to these ends, snap that one, down here, snap that one. And you just got the two in the front that you can still access. Snap. And the last one here, snap. And there it is. That's how you install the step cushion from Specialty Marine on a classic Outrage or other similar model.